What is up, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome in to the Film Guide Network on a random Sunday evening. Don't do a lot of these, but when something like this happens, your boy runs down to the studio and we gonna get a shot up. Ain't no doubt about it. LSU just fired Brian Kelly. This might be news to anybody who doesn't have Pete Nakos on three on alerts or is just like, being a normal human being on a Sunday afternoon. But yeah, just happened. And I tweeted about it and we talked about it on the Sunday show. That Sunday show, by the way, 3 straight weeks may just be college football, but that Sunday show is a death sentence. The moment I hit end stream, it's getting popping. Somebody's about to lose a job. That's exactly what's happened 3 weeks in a row on that sucker. James Franklin, Billy Napier, and now Brian Kelly here at LSU. I tweeted about this a couple weeks ago. I thought he was on the hot seat going into the Vanderbilt football game because it was going to put him on a must-win-out situation, because this is a program that is run downstairs, breaking news, that job's open type of program. This is a top 5 college football program, in my opinion. And that's just the way I know everybody says that about different jobs, but this is Ohio State, Georgia, Texas, LSU, echelon. Like, this is what Alabama, this is the echelon of programs, right? With regards to 5-hour radius, access to funds, and expectations of results, right? And fan base, you know what I mean? Funding and all that good stuff. So this is one of those jobs. This is one of those jobs that requires playoff, expectations, bare minimum. 12, buddy, you better. It's LSU. You're not a top 12 program at LSU. You have to be considered about thinking about firing you. And then, buddy, we can talk about being 20-1 at home and now 20-2 at home, and I'm sure he'll talk about that at his next job. But those two losses are two losses that make, your next employer he should have questions for you, he or she. You got skull drugged by Alabama at home at LSU as the head football coach. You got skull drugged by Texas A&M. Ain't lost to them in that place since 1994. And they could have hung up 70 on your butt last night. So, yeah, every bit of it's $57 million worth of a buyout. My God, we got to get this guy to coach. I talked about it Sunday. Buy him out. Because what you're doing, this whole idea of, let's give him a whole nother opportunity to fire a whole nother staff. Guys, he torched an entire defensive staff 18 months ago. His first defensive staff that he hired gone, completely clean house, all of them, get rid of them. 18 months ago, and now the defense gives up 60 at home, or whatever it was. It felt like 60. I think it was 49. Y'all get what I'm saying? And I don't think it's all the defense's fault. We know how bad the offense has been. Let's get to the offense. You let Mike Denbrock go to Notre Dame after, putting up, God knows, all the numbers, LSU standard offense, you know what I mean? And all that stuff. And then he goes to Notre Dame, and we promote in-house in Joe Sloan. And I get that. I understand the in-house promotional stuff, but we are burning through coaches left and right. At some point, Mr. CEO, Mr. I control quality around here, at some point we got to look at you. And I think that's where it got today, right? It's where it got today with the entire, and yesterday. And it had been reaching a boiling point to that point with this fan base anyways, because it is Louisiana State University. You should be a top 12 football program. You have not played like that at any point in your 4-year run. And we look, we make jokes about it. We do. But guys, a literal grass eater and a swamp monster have won national titles at that program. And this head football coach can't make a playoff game. That's insanity. After 4 years, he's got to go. So that opens up a whole nother deal. But here's the other really scary part. And look, this is LSU, so I don't think they fit in the category we talked about with regards to Florida and Penn State, because this is LSU. This opens up a whole different category of types of candidates, and we'll get to that in a second. But right now, unless you're stealing a great coach somewhere else, or unless somebody comes down from the NFL, who is the best candidate in the world? You know what I mean? It's going to be Lane Kiffin. They're probably going to circle him heavily. And I would imagine this one's going to end up having to be yes. We might say no to Florida, and I understand that. But how can we say no to this one is the way I feel about this. And I would imagine Jimmy Sexton is talking to him about that as well. But my first thought goes to, why not Nick Saban? I know that's crazy, but this is LSU. It's the one job he has always talked about, regretting leaving. So there is that. Yes, I think Dan Lanning would take the phone call. I don't know if he would say yes, but he'd take the phone call. You know what I mean? Like that Oregon job. I love Phil Knight and I love Nike, and Nike is dope. But that Oregon job is really hard to consistently build perfect rosters, right? Perfect rosters, not great rosters, perfect ones. And the guys that have won natties at LSU, they got perfect rosters. And that's still attainable in college football nowadays at programs like that with resources like that, in my opinion. Okay, so like it's really, really good at Oregon right now, and he'll say he probably won't leave. That's again with the LSU thing. I don't know who they gonna hire somebody though. It doesn't matter who they hire because this one wasn't the right one. It wasn't the right one from the jump, and I'm sure it probably does. I shouldn't say it doesn't matter who they hire. It obviously matters who they hire. But they had to make the decision to fire this one today because it was the complete wrong fit. This one wasn't going to get you where you're ultimately supposed to be. And I think that's the ultimate finality point with regards to this storyline with Brian Kelly. And then the next storyline is, who is it? I think DeBoer says no. Kirby Smart says no. Sark says no. And everybody else, there's one more I'm missing here. I think there's 4 programs. Oh, Ryan Day. And then everybody else is like, but they circle Lane Kiffin and Big Sharpie after they make Nick Saban say no. And then everybody else has to say no. That's the way I look at that. But man, by the way, Florida State, you have to eat Mike Norvell now. You can't get in this mix. You can't be fourth fiddle in this coaching search. I think that's the other thing we got to start realizing. Hey, don't oversaturate the market. Don't be out here getting 5th, 6th, 7th candidate rate and you just fired what is like the 7th best available candidate, right? I feel like Penn State's nearing this. Penn State is in a situation now where James Franklin might be the best remaining candidate for the job that they just fired him from. You see what I'm saying? We got to be very careful out here nowadays. But this one had to go. Appreciate you guys for being here. If it's your first time visiting, I'm the film guy, Brooks Austin. We break down a bunch of film over there on the tape. We also do a bunch of live shows. First time ever doing breaking news reactions. Hope you enjoyed it. Hit that thumbs up button on your way out. Love you. Bye.